Hello, welcome to the Sideboard here at the Star City Games Players Championship, brought to you by Ultimate Guard and Carnox Chairs. Nick Miller alongside Harlan Fear and Zach Allen. Two of you have been playing, testing together for a lot of Season 2, where you guys really put together a lot of results. You kept that going for the Players Championship, worked together, locked in the same 225 cards across 3 formats.
Correct.
Yep.
And now we're going to talk about Legacy, a nice brew we have here. You two are both basically well known for blue-white controlling strategies, drawing a lot of cards.
Yes.
Splashing green this weekend.
Yeah.
Talk about your deck, how you guys came to this build.
Well, calling it a bruise a little bit of a stretch. It won a Grand Prix like 2 weeks ago. We were playing a much worse build.
Right.
It won the Grand Prix. So we kind of switched to that and then decided AK, Accumulated Knowledge, was much better than Quaddle.
Yeah, it was funny because we kind of worked together on a Jeskai version of this kind of same deck, I want to say 2 or 3 months ago for SEG Syracuse. And when we qualified, we were pretty locked into playing that type of deck. And like the day we qualified, I just sent him a message with a Bant deck in it. I was like, I think this is like the natural evolution of the deck we're playing. And I was like, all right, we can't test it online. Hopefully nobody finds this. Like 3 weeks later, it's all over the format. Everyone's playing like Bant, like miracle controlling style decks. It was, I don't know. I was kind of upset about it, but it's cool. The metagame like helped develop it and move the deck forward, so It really worked out.
Well, we can get to the slide here and see that we slot Oko into every existing archetype now.
That's true.
This was previously a blue-white Miracles deck. It is now splashing green for Oko. You have Velen Summer as well, but tied together with Astrolabe. What does Oko do to the Miracles archetype?
It kind of replaces that threat package. So like we ended up cutting the Entreat from the deck because like I kind of view the Entreat as like the Emrakul from when KCI was in Modern. It like wins you the game, but it's unnecessary to do it. Oko is kind of the Pirate Spell Bomb, right? It's like your functional removal spell that can like play the game and it will just kill them. And that's kind of what it does.
It also provides a lot of a good ability to pressure Planeswalkers, which can be hard for this type of deck. Game 1 anyway.
Right, and Legacy especially is a lot about Planeswalkers right now between Teferi, Oko, Jace. They're everywhere, and you have to have ways to take them off the battlefield and protect your own. You have Snapcaster Mage here, your other, quote, win condition / extra removal spell, 3 copies, and then 2 Jace the Mind Sculptor, a card that had been wavering a bit, but now is basically firmly planted back in as the top end of these control decks. Talk about Jace.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real win con, right? Like when you play against a Dark Depths deck, you plow their 20/20 twice. You're not killing them with Oko.
Yeah.
You're exiling their library. And Jace is also still just the best card advantage engine in the format.
Yeah, he's just too good. You've seen him for a long time. Him and Oko together, I think the 2 best Planeswalkers ever printed. Hard not to put them in the same deck.
All right, moving on here. We'll also see Teferi, the other solid 3-mana Planeswalker here. No surprise to see it in this deck. Astrolabe, but Accumulated Knowledge, this is really what separates the Miracles build and your particular build of the deck versus the Snow control decks. Mm-hmm. How good is it in this deck, and why are you opting to play it as opposed to these other types of control decks?
It's slow, but honestly, it's just absurd. Like, Mystic Sanctuary and Accumulated Knowledge is a messed up combo.
Yeah, they go too well together. We'll watch it. When you're playing this deck, you'll cast like the second one, draw 2, fetch, put it right back on top of your library, draw 2 again, and all of a sudden you're just way ahead.
Really a actual card advantage control deck where you bury them in card advantage, and that's the name of the game here?
Yeah, and that's kind of why we don't have the Entreat, is we just have so many cards the Oko will kill you, or the Jace will kill you because we can protect them. Yep. Because we're just up 4 or 5 cards on you over a long game.
Right. All right, moving on here, we'll also see Brainstorm. This is Legacy. This card's going to be in your deck.
Yeah.
Ponder will be on the slide later, but then Force of Will and Force of Negation here. You have the 6 copies to protect, and you're just slamming Planeswalkers and protecting them, basically.
Protecting us from other Planeswalkers.
Yeah, I think that's the more important part. Is it's just really hard to get Planeswalkers off the table, especially Oko in Legacy. So your best thing to do against them is just counter him for 0 mana. You don't get it. You're getting 2 for 1. We can make it up later, but you can't let him hit the table.
Right. You get to play 6 copies of these pitch effects because you have the accumulated knowledge engine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even the non-AK builds play this split. It's mostly that these decks lack some pressure early, so you have to have the free counters against combo, even at card disadvantage, because you can't play the soft counters like Spell Pierce and Daze. So you have to have these hard counters against combo to make up your matchup.
We'll go to the next slide here. Ponder, we mentioned that. Now your removal, Terminus. This is the Miracles basically moniker. You have to have a miracle in your deck.
Yeah. Sure.
Entreat's gone, but Terminus still name of the game for answering everything. And Swords of Plowshares. These are your two go-to removal spells.
Yeah, Terminus with Mystic Sanctuary is probably even more messed up than Accumulated Knowledge.
You get to act surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Does it even count? That's making your own luck, right?
Yeah. All right, we'll move on here. Velen Summer, the one other green card in your deck. Just this card's everywhere in these blue formats. You have to have your own copies as well, just to basically keep pace, I assume.
Well, also, we just knew we wanted 3, and it's kind of just one of the better sideboard cards to just slot main because it just ends up being good against everybody despite looking like a hoser. So pretty easy to slot that one in as a one.
Right. We'll move through the mana base here. We have the fetch lands, but we have to mention Mystic Sanctuary here because this is the other key land. You get to already mention accumulated knowledge and Terminus. Are you ever picking anything else, or is it just basically those two?
You pick up Brainstorm quite a bit, Plow in the mid game. It's kind of like if you were like, it's kind of like the blue-green Sun Zenith now, right? Where like you have the utility, you have the toolbox creatures in the deck to green Sun for, but now we have fetches for the Mystic Sanctuary, which is anything in your yard, right? It honestly, this is what separates this deck from everything else.
Yeah, we didn't like. And honestly, I'm kind of more of a back to basics player, so it's kind of weird that I'm playing a non-basic, but I just think it's so good that you just have to play it. It's so powerful to just keep picking up Terminus and AK. I mean, those are the two, you're right, those are the two you get 95% of the time, but even when you're getting anything else, it's still good.
Yep. All right, we'll move here through the rest of the mana base. We obviously have our Snowlands, and then we'll get to the sideboard cards here. Flusterstorm, Hydroblast, these are just extra counter spells, but then Celestial Purge here. What are you targeting specifically with this card?
Specifically Depths and Bitter Blossom out of the sideboard, which we only have one Depths player in Matt Dilks, but he does have 2 Bitter Blossoms. So Purge is coming in clutch there.
It kills Meryl Age, kills Young Pyromancer, Dreadhorde Arcanist out of blue-red Delver decks. I mean, sometimes they can try to bring in Blood Moon against you. It's not generally great, but sometimes you got to get it off the table. So just pretty easy catch-all in Purge.
Okay, moving on here. More one-mana interaction with Pyroblast now. Then we have Rest in Peace. We've got to mention Mentor here, a card that, occasionally is in the main deck of these Miracle decks. You have 2 in the sideboard. Obviously, you have the Oko plan game 1. When is Mentor coming in?
Pretty much any. So the old Miracle saying is you have good matchups and Mentor matchups. So whenever you're lacking pressure, you want Mentor. It's actually a pretty good grindy card in these matchups now, in like the kind of like Sultai black-green matchups. With Veil now, it's kind of absurd. You just play Mentor and like you can counter Abrupt Decay with Veil now.
Yeah.
And Mentor will very quickly take over a game, as we've always seen. So it's actually a pretty good fair card, and also the presence of it makes them respect it post board. So you can actually just not board them in, and then your deck is slightly better than theirs on average anyway.
Sure. Yep. All right. Get to the next page. More Velen Summers, as we mentioned, your Volcanic Land to help you cast the red cards, and then Return to Nature here. A little bit of everything on this card, but is there anything in specific you had in your mind?
No, I mean, you kill Stoneforge Equipment out of Death and Taxes and Aether Vial maybe. But it's just a very versatile card. It's nice that you can bring it in against, Reanimator if you get to that matchup, or Storm, you might be able to catch like a Pass in Flames when they're discarding their hand with LED or something. It's, and you can also kill an LED against Storm, so it's just a very versatile card. And yeah, just, for a sideboard card in Legacy, you need to maximize the spaces, so happy to play too.
Also not terribly relevant these days, but it's really one of the best cyber cards you can have against lands. They often have Sylvan Library, Choke, several other artifacts and enchantments. Sometimes they try and chalice you, but it also exiles Loam out of the graveyard. So it stops their engine and protects you from their Silver Bullet type stuff.
Okay, wrapping up here, when you built your deck and you planned for this event, how did you see the Legacy metagame coming into this event? What did you expect?
I expected a good amount of kind of those blue soup decks, the snow decks, just all the various Astrolabe decks. We actually expected some Hogak, which it looked like there is some, which is why we have the Rest in Pieces in our accumulated knowledge Mystic Sanctuary deck. You got to protect from the dirty Gak. And then we expected Dilks to play depths, and so the meta kind of shaked out a little bit well for us. I expected more Delver than there is, so our deck is a little more conservative than some of the other blue decks.
Yeah, I thought there'd be more Delver. I thought we'd like get 1 or 2 lands players. I don't know if we got any. So, yeah, basically what he said with the metagame.
All right. Well, the deck looks great. We'll be seeing Mystic Sanctuary drawing a bunch of cards, hopefully.
Hopefully.
How are you guys feeling coming in your first player championship?
Great. Legacy's one of my better formats. I know it's one of Zach's better formats too.
Yeah,
so.
I'm really excited to play Legacy. Happy we get to start with it.
All right. For Harlan Fear, Zach Allen, stay tuned to Star City Games all weekend long for the action here in Roanoke.